Hey homeschoolers, I'm Melissa Webb, former full-time classroom teacher and homeschool mom turned full-time business CEO and encourager to homeschool families everywhere. I am determined and dedicated to helping you in this journey that you're on. So if you are looking for a place to be encouraged and inspired, you have found the perfect podcast. Homeschooling is a work of heart is truly the perfect place to start. So welcome. Let's jump in. Well, hello, homeschoolers, and welcome back to Homeschool is a Work of Heart. This is where we dive deep into all the ways we can support our children at home, academically, emotionally, and socially. Yes, socially. And that's what I want to talk about this week. I noticed in many of my classes, my online classes, for some reason this semester, many students are telling me they are too shy to read a paragraph from their essay. Now, that's not what I call them. That is a label that they have chosen to adopt, probably because an adult told them that they were shy. That's typically not something a child just comes up with all on his own or her own. It's because well-intentioned adults are telling them that they are, and they believe it because they believe us. Okay, are you starting to feel the heat? I'm getting a little hot right now. I have a feeling that today may get a little spicy for some of you, and I want you to remember my goal is never to offend. I'm on your team. I'm on your side. However, if I can ruffle up those feathers of yours enough so that you might consider what I have to say today and then choose for yourself, then we've made some progress. It means you were open-minded, and that's great. And by the end of this episode, you have my full permission to completely disagree with me. Not a problem. We'll still be friends. But here is what I believe about shyness. It is not a personality trait. It's a belief. Ooh, okay. I know some of you are like, nope, I disagree with you already. Okay, just hear me out. I do not believe it's a personality trait. I believe it's a belief. I believe it's a thought that gets into a child's head and is repeated over and over again, either by adults or by the child herself, until it feels like it's true. And they even have evidence. They can prove it. They can prove it. They can prove it. But what if I told you that belief, I'm shy, can change? It's not set in stone. Wouldn't you love to see your child thrive and demonstrate self-assuredness? That is exactly what I want to talk about. How our words shape our children's beliefs about themselves and how we, as their loving parents, can help them break free from these limiting thoughts that we've offered them. Thoughts like, I'm shy. Sounds so innocent and sweet. And yet, these are labels we give our children, and I think we need to be aware of them. From the moment that our children are born, they look to us to understand who they are. That is just the human experience. And what we tell them in and out of every day, whether we realize it or not, becomes the foundation of their beliefs about themselves. So, for our example, if a child hears, oh, she's just so shy, or, well, he's just always been the quiet one, they internalize that. And it becomes their truth because someone they love and respect told them that's the truth. I mean, we could look at it this way. What obedient children. But let's pause here. What if instead we intentionally chose to be very careful about what we said and that what we said was empowering? So, for example, what if we said, instead of she's just shy, instead we said she's thoughtful, she takes her time to warm up but she has so many wonderful things to say. Just give her some time. Or maybe he is so observant. He's always watching. He chooses his words wisely, but give him a moment and he'll step right in. This is different. The same children, but this is different. Do you hear it? I'm hoping you hear the difference because the first one, she's shy. He's the quiet one. That feels very limiting. Like that's who you are. But the second one's something like she's thoughtful. She just takes her time to warm up, or he's observant. He chooses his words very wisely. That feels full of potential. Do you hear the differences? So to be clear, I do want to say this before we go on. I am not here to say that every child should be the life of the party at all. That is not what I'm saying. What I will agree with is that some children are naturally more reserved. They're more introspective, and that's wonderful, right? We need introverts and extroverts. That's all great. But there is a difference between being reserved and believing I can't speak up or I'm bad at making new friends because I'm so shy, right? That isn't going to be helpful. It's important that if they are reserved and more introspective, we embrace that, but we don't look at it as any kind of self-imposed limitation on them. I'm very interested in psychology, and I studied child psychology when I was in college. I continue to read all the time, and I will tell you that many child psychologists would back me up on this. They have proven that self-perception is largely shaped by external feedback received in the early years of our development. In fact, let's see, there was a study published in the Journal of Experimental Child Psychology. That study found that children as young as 3 years old, begin to form beliefs about their abilities based on what they hear from the adults around them. That is so young. And those beliefs can follow children well into adulthood. You may have some from your childhood. Is anything coming to mind right now? I'm here to talk to you about the kind of parent you can show up and be or become or continue to work on and grow. You're somebody who wants to do that. But I also want you to take a moment and think back to your childhood. Were you told limiting beliefs as a child that you believed were truth? Consider that. This would make such a great journal prompt for you to sit for 30 minutes with a hot cup of tea or coffee and write down some of the limiting beliefs that all of a sudden are popping to the top of your mind. You're like, wow, I see it so clearly now. And again, look at those parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles. They all loved you. The difference was they thought they were just being honest because it's what they believed. And we want to be aware. We want to be careful. I mean, what parent would ever mean to limit their children's potential? No parent would want to do that. That's why I think this is a great topic. We don't know what we don't know. So bringing it to the forefront, thinking about it, journaling on it, asking yourself, asking for any limiting beliefs that you're sharing with your children would come to the surface so that then you could work on that. Who benefits? Your child and you. So let's talk about a few common ways I've seen parents, including myself. I have done all of these things. So, and as a teacher as well as a parent. But I will tell you, this is why I know it's unintentional. But these are some common things that parents, teachers, we've done to reinforce these labels. Don't beat yourself up. You love your kids. I know you do. You're doing a great job. I know you are. But maybe we can do an even greater job. Now, have you ever labeled one of your children? Like, oh, she's the clumsy one. Oh, he's always struggled in school. Have you labeled them? Just consider this. Again, this is a great journal prompt to come back and think about this because I have. And like I said, I have done this to my own children and students. And we need to be careful because these kinds of comments do send a message that this is who they are instead of maybe just how they acted or reacted in any given moment. That is really important. What about the second one? Have you ever rescued one of your children? You come to the rescue, you want to save them. So you have a child who is very reserved by nature. And so you don't want your child to feel uncomfortable. So you quickly speak up. You feel any awkward silences. That's also not helping. That's sending a message. So think twice and just ask yourself, am I saying to my child, I'm sorry, honey, but I don't think you can handle this? That's not something you would want to say. I know it's not. So let's just be aware and be careful. How about the third one? Have you ever compared your kiddos? Like, your sister's outgoing. Why can't you just say hello to everyone like she does? Ooh, yeah, that can make a child feel like something is wrong with her or him and that somebody else in the family is more worthy or the better child. I know there's so much to it. And as parents, we show up and we're just trying our best. We're just doing our best. But don't you think that by being aware and calling attention to this topic, that you might be able to apply something that helps you not only parent better, but helps encourage confidence in your child? I hope so. That's what I want. Again, my goal is not for you to beat yourself up. I'd be beating myself up all day. I just want you to be aware. And here's the thing. If we were at lunch and you had a big old spinach leaf stuck in your tooth, I am the girlfriend who would let you know. I would let you know. I'd be like whispering over there, hey, you've got some spinach in your teeth. Just wanted you to know. And I would hope you do the same for me. And there's great news because as adults that are intelligent and willing and open-minded, we can break this cycle if it's something you've been doing, and we can rise to become better and more beautiful parents. And that's the goal. So here are 3 things I would love for you to try over this next week. And I'll go into each of the 3 in a little more detail. But one is you're going to reframe the narrative when you catch it happening. 2, you're going to note any effort that you see your child trying to break out of a label. And 3, you're going to model for them your own levels of confidence. So let me explain the 3 of those. So reframe the narrative. Instead of saying, you're just shy, honey, instead have this conversation and say, all this time I have said you're shy, but you know what? I actually don't think you are shy, honey. I think you just like to take your time before jumping into a conversation. And that's fine. This will help your children see their behavior is what they're choosing to do. It's not their self-identity. It's not that they are shy. They are a shy person. It's not who they are. It's just what they like to do is to take their time and feel comfortable first. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. This is where you want to practice ahead of time as well. I will just say for my own experience, I teach online writing, and at the end of every month, students are encouraged to come online, and this is all virtual, and they read their favorite paragraph. So these shy students that I have, I reach out to them ahead of time, or they reach out to me. Some of them will reach out to me via email, and I will tell them, hey, you practice the paragraph that you're going to want to read, and you let me know if you want to go first and get it over with, you want to wait and go last, or you want me to put you somewhere in the middle. And we work together. And I tell them, first time that you do it, leave your video off. Just use your microphone. We don't have to have the video on. And then with time and practice, and they find that this is a safe space, then they even turn on their cameras. It's so exciting to see that happen because you know something is clicking in their own brain and they're believing in themselves in a whole new level. And that's why the second thing is so important, and that is note their effort. There's actually a book, Praise Effort, Not Personality, by Carol Dweck. She's a leading psychologist on motivation. And she shows that praising effort over any fixed trait will lead to greater confidence. It also builds resilience. So instead of, you are so outgoing today, that's a trait. You're being an outgoing person. Instead, you notice the effort. I noticed what you did. You introduced yourself. You read that paragraph out loud. That took courage. Okay. And here's the thing. I have a parent this semester who said, my daughter may not even come to class. That's how shy she is. And I'm like, okay, let's just see if we can get her there first. She comes regularly. And she has started chatting, which is like the texting in the little chat box in our group call. And the mom is noticing that. And she's noting that effort. And she's saying to her daughter, wow, you chatted today. You responded to that question. That is a great step. That is awesome. I know that took courage. Okay. So those are the kinds of praiseworthy things that you want to be sharing. And the third thing, and this is very important, we have to remember that children learn more from what we do than what we say. This is true, yes? So you must model confidence in your own actions. If they hear you say things like, oh, I'm so terrible at small talk, I hate social situations, I'm so uncomfortable around people, they're going to pick up on that. So you need to show them what it looks like to stretch beyond your own comfort zones in small ways. And you can still 100% be honest. Talk about what it feels like to be uncomfortable doing something that you don't feel equipped to do, but that you do it anyway. Oh, so much goodness comes from that. Because here's the thing, I've been a teacher for over 30 years. And let me tell you, so many children have shared with me their limiting beliefs that were taught to them by their parents. And as I said, maybe your parents taught you some of these. Anybody ever hear this? Oh, I'll tell you why I'm not good at math. My mom was so bad at math. I'm bad at math too. Is that true? That's just a belief. How about this one? Oh, I could never sing. Nobody in my family can sing. Is that true? You could probably pull up some evidence and try and prove it to me. How about, he's just not a reader. He's never loved reading. He's just not a reader. It sounds so factual. And even if you believe it is true, I would still question, what is the upside in even saying it or wanting to believe that? Because these are just thoughts repeated over and over until they become beliefs. But they're not facts. They're not true. I get it. They feel true. And like I said, you can have evidence and prove to me that you cannot hold a note in a bucket. But I would ask, how hard have you tried to learn how to sing? How hard have you tried to master and appreciate mathematics? Those are the real questions. Have you tried enough books? Maybe your child does love to read comic books. Or maybe your child loves to listen to books on Audible and is still consuming great information. I just want us to be careful. The more we repeat limiting beliefs to and in front of our children, the more those thoughts are going to become part of their identity. So let's be aware. We are parents, and we have to bring the A game every day. It's exhausting. I know it's not easy, but I also know you can do it. Now, for any of you who do come from a faith perspective, I think we have extra bonuses because we can reinforce positive identity by reminding our children who they truly are. And you can go to all kinds of Bible verses for that. But I do want to share one with you. Proverbs 18:21, the one that says that the tongue has the power of life and death. Right there. Our words are powerful. They can lift our children up, but they can also hold them back. So when we tell them they're brave and they're capable and they're strong, those excellent beliefs that are not limiting, they'll believe us then as well. So let's make sure that we're doing that. Here's my challenge for you this week. I just want you to pay attention to the words you're using. And maybe not just you. What are other adults saying? Your husband, grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends. What are you hearing when anybody is describing your child behind their back or in front of them? What are you hearing? Are they limited beliefs? Question it. Ask yourself. Are the comments empowering? Or are they reinforcing some limitation? Just get curious. I don't want any fights or arguments, just curiosity. And notice, because if you're at all tempted this week to say, as an excuse, oh, she's just shy, just stop. Reframe it. Choose different words. Pick something centered around capabilities, and then praise the effort that your child puts forth and model positive self-talk in front of them. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with admitting that you're nervous, that you're going to maybe teach a Sunday class or attend an important Zoom meeting or call regarding a job interview you're hoping to get. Share those feelings and experiences. Walk through your thinking process on how you handle things, and let your kiddos watch you closely. Let them ask you questions. How do you do that, Mom? And then give them the honest answers. I think it's so important that we teach our kids that they are so capable. They are capable of speaking up, making friends, doing hard things, and certainly stepping into confidence, one thought at a time. Hey, if you found this episode helpful or inspiring, please share it with a friend. And just remember that words matter. We want to be careful of the labels we give. Choose them wisely and watch your child blossom. Until next time, right on. Well, thanks so much for tuning in and listening this week. Hey, if this was something that you found valuable, don't forget you want to subscribe or follow so that every time a new episode is dropped, you'll be the first to know. And hey, before you go, if you are looking to get some of this academic writing under your belt and outsourced so that it's one less thing, freeing you up to enjoy more time with your family, hey, you're going to want to head over to writeonweb.com to see what kinds of resources and materials I have available for you. I will look forward to seeing you there, and I will look forward to seeing you here in our next episode. Right on.